Good morning. Are you building on rock? Rock solid. How do you build on rock? Oops. Something got loose here on my tripod. So to build on rock or to build on earth or sand? Look at the moon, still quite high at this point in the morning, just before sunrise. It's a waning full moon. We're here heading south. At this moment we'll start to head back toward the north. So we're a bit closer to Tiberias than we usually. Well, no, we actually get a little further south on the road down here at the lake. But I'm not going to go that far today, I don't think. And here you see the high rise of Tiberias at the Sea of Galilee. Welcome to Sunrise Stroll and Chat. Lots of rocks and stones around, but not enough to build a house on. Now we got bigger rocks here. No place to build a house, you know. The rain comes and erodes all the foundation and the house collapses. Here's a bed of rock. But even around that rock, I think if the rain came in the right way, the water flow came in the right way, it would start eroding. I think these clouds are going to give us some nice beauty, or it's possible. So if you built a fortress up on top of that cliff, just in a bit from the edge, I think that'd be pretty solid for a while. But then there could be an earthquake. But it might still stay up there, you know. Because I don't know about all the consistency here, but it's been there a while. Thousands and thousands of years. We're ahead of the sunrise this morning, people. Got some delightful flowers to show you on the way back. Really delightful. Amazing. So I think I'm going to head back right now. A little bit head back towards the north. And we'll keep our eye on developments here. Or maybe, yeah, we still have a little bit of time. We can get back down a little bit more here. See some more rocks. There are lots of big rocks around here. Oh, look at the moon there right above this tree. It's a nice little take on the moon. That's maximum zoom right now. And let's check out these caves up here. I haven't been up there. I'm not sure if it's possible to get in there. It might be easy, relatively easy to get up, but then to come down might be tricky. I imagine I'm not a rock-faced guy at this time in my life. So the moon is setting now. It's going to go down below the tree a little more. Oops, sorry about that. Totally zoomed in, so it becomes this is nice terrain, a little bit different than we see most days. Nice terrain, you know. Depends on what you call nice. It's quite different. Very rough. You know, these are all pieces of rock that obviously broke off these cliffs here. You can see here how fragile it is, even though it looks like rock. So it's not solid rock. It would be easy to chip away there. So not a good place to build your house either. So again, this is an image, powerful image. There we got some big rocks over here. And right here beside it as well, do you see this one? So Isaiah today, I think it's chapter 26, he's saying, "The Lord is my rock." He's not going to move, you know. He's solid as rock. Rock solid. This is a nice angle on the Sea of Galilee here. There in the center of the screen, Mount Beatitudes, good landmarker. A little to the right, Capernaum, multiplication of the loaves, the mountains, Safat, the big on top of that hill up there. Sea of Galilee Hotel there in the center. Just above it is the kibbutz, the Nuf Genosar, where they have the boat that was dredged out of the water. And Magdala is just around the corner here. This little hill is blocking the view. And let's go here, let's not miss the sunrise today. Look at how green this is. So I think this is our spot here. Maybe we'll just move on a little bit to the next one. Oh, there were the partridges flying out with such decision and power and urgency. There's still another one just come out there right now. Oh, there it is. There's the sunrise, people. There's the sunrise. Something's gotten loose on my fittings on top of the tripod, so the camera is running around on me. There we are. I wonder how to tighten this up. I hear a bell. I think that's the Russian Orthodox Church, but I'm not sure. See, the camera is sliding by itself there. I don't know what's going on here. I have to keep my finger on it. beauty of sunrise. Now the pathway is beginning to form on the water, the light path. Yeah, things are very quiet. I saw a comment there about boats. It's very quiet. Maybe it's also because the weather is cooler. I think there's relative freedom of movement right now. Because we've been out of the lockdown a few weeks. A lot of people are going to work. It looks like a lot of traffic in the early morning. So I don't know why there are no boats, but maybe the weather has something to do with it. Maybe people are busy doing other things. So we're reading Isaiah chapter 26 with a very powerful image this morning. On that day they will sing this song in the land of Judah. A strong city have we. He sets up walls and ramparts to protect us. Open up the gates to let in a nation that is just. And this word comes back a couple of times, justice. One that keeps faith. Faithful. A nation of firm purpose. A nation of firm purpose you keep in peace. For its trust is in you. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord is an eternal rock. That's why I was showing you all the rocks there. There are a couple of big rocks down here. Imagine you have a rock in your garden that size. You won't be moving it in a hurry. And it might be there since your grandfather's time. It might be there until your grandchildren have grandchildren. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord is an eternal rock. And then it says he humbles those in high places. That's surely a metaphor for pride and arrogance in high places. And the lofty city he brings down. He tumbles it to the ground, levels it with the dust. It is trampled underfoot by the needy, by the footsteps of the poor. So the rock, the Lord is my rock, and building on rock or building on presumption, arrogance, building just for pleasure. Well, what is rock? What is building on rock? And there are very strong words like this in the Psalm 118. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in man. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes. And this doesn't mean we should lack trust in people, but the kind of trust to build our lives on political leaders, on pop culture leaders. There's a lot of discernment to do. There are very strong lines of lack of confidence in in so many material things that just wither away. And the discovery of the deep rock. Yesterday I had an incredible conversation with a man who is an atheist, very strong in Jewish identity and consciousness, but he says God is a good idea, it's a useful idea to have for our conversations, for our encounter, but he's an atheist. So it helps us to think a lot, to reflect a lot, to meet the other, to ponder, to hear the other. How do I build my life? And it's interesting that after the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5, 6, and 7 chapters, up here in the Mount of Beatitudes, which is going to be in the center of the screen right now, and that's when Jesus says, "He who listens to my words and acts on them is building on rock." And if you don't, you're building on sand. Even if you listen a lot, but you don't act on them. So maybe this word is more addressed by Jesus to his own disciples. And what really makes the disciple? We have another word similarly in the description of the final judgment, when Jesus said they will come and say, "Lord, Lord, we heard you preach." And he says, "I do not know you. And we preached in your name and we drove out demons. I do not know you." These are very strong words, very, very big challenges for us to deal with. In that sense, it's not enough to say Jesus is Lord. And we say that in the Holy Spirit. We can only say it in the Holy Spirit. So, building on rock, not building on loose stone, not building on sand, on earth. I think there we need a grace, guidance, good discernment. What are the foundations of my life? The other days when we saw these birds, they were much higher up. These guys seem to be just dallying, they're not going in one straight direction. And one, good formation. I just see a window reflecting up in Safat. There in the center of the screen. The sun is hitting that building. Some people build their lives on an industry, on a goal of money. It's interesting, the sun is already up and the moon is still up. Let me take you back here. Just there to the right of the poles, under the wires. The waning full moon. Those clouds didn't produce the color I was anticipating. got these little animals that are working away too, look. Oh, we saw them yesterday. My tripod is not allowing me to get you a picture with the thistle there. I'm at the wrong angle. But good intentions. So building on rock, as a believer, building on God's will. To build on injustice, to build on defamation of people, to build on cheating. That cannot be building solidly. The one who serves, the one who forgives, the one who has compassion. That's never a mistake. Of course, the challenge then is to how to exercise the compassion, not to facilitate brokenness, but to help heal it. And that takes great wisdom and measure. I want to get to a rock here. When I was heading southward, I saw this rock. It has something very special for you this morning. It's a very different use of the metaphor of rock for the spiritual life than the one we have been pondering. So it shows us that different realities can speak to us in different ways, help us to understand things from another angle. And it's about the seed, you know, the seed that fell on the pathway and the seed that fell among thorns and the seed that fell on rock. And you see why we have all these incredible, what do we have here? I was astonished by the amount of flowers, and they obviously grew because the rock gave them heat. And then there are a lot more flowers over here in this bush. Maybe it's because they're more sheltered here and they blossomed quickly. This is just, these flowers are just a little token for what's going to come in the springtime. When the whole hillside will be a mass of flower. It was amazing, yesterday afternoon a lot of these birds that had gone south seemed to be coming back, which is kind of strange. They're supposed to be all going south to Africa. Maybe their Waze or Google Maps didn't work out for them. So the image of the rock here then is the warmth that allows sudden growth, but not deep growth because the clay is shallow. It's enough for these flowers obviously, but it wouldn't be enough for a bigger plant. And it might sprout, but then it would wither when the sun would hit it strongly. And here we have the briars, the rock, and the path. And the good soil. where it will produce bounty. To build on rock. How many civilizations disappear? Archaeology shows us that. They are blown away. Economic systems, fashions. The challenge of building solidly in our lives. And then, what do you build on rock? Obviously a house, but our own lives. Our lives are meant to last forever. And that's the one reality that we can freely build. And we're building it all our lives. Amazing. Even we could be in prison or in hospital, on a wheelchair, and we're still free. Free to build, free to inspire, free to encourage. And we are also free to build others. How many prisoners have been a huge influence on their guards? You'd think that if you were put in prison, that's the end of the story. No way. People have written books in prison. Many for good, but some for bad. How do we build? What do we build? We normally walk down here just below the road, and that's one of our frequent walks. And think of the disciples. They heard Jesus, they were drawn to him, and they built their lives on him. And they weren't perfect, but they did what Jesus says there in the gospel. They acted on his word. They had their moments of weakness, their moments of failure, but they built their lives on his word to the point of martyrdom. And countless millions since that time, building on rock. Sometimes people feel their life is shattered when something goes wrong. They lost their job, a spouse died, they got a very bad report from the doctor. And maybe these moments of crisis are really very providential because they help us to become aware of the type of foundation we have in our lives, and insufficient foundations, and the need to adjust. The Lord is my rock. In him I trust. It's foolish to trust in princes. And they can be civic princes or cultural princes. They can be economic princes and barons. Ideological princes and barons. Even clerical princes. The Lord is my rock. So this is the pathway we have come along here. The pathway is a huge asset. It takes us there. Oh, look at this. Our bird was perched. There's still another one perched on top of the cow. That one that just flew off was perched on top of her horns, between her horns. Look. I think I'm gone way over time. But that's a precious little scene there. Somebody could get a screenshot of that for me, please. Just one or two. So the train is moving and the bird is still there on top of the cow. And here we have another cow. Where's the other cow gone? So the bird is happily perched there on that cow as well. People, it's been a delight. God bless you. I have to give you the sunrise there again. Oh, what's going on? There we go. God bless you. See you later, alligators.